All right, folks. Hello. Welcome to the after show special. This was, for the most part, entirely unplanned, this idea. So, welcome. And I can see a few people here already. So hopefully you guys have seen that it started. Bob is here, and William is here, Orin, and I think that's it so far. So we've got 9 people watching, which is cool. Now, obviously, as you can see, my stream is nowhere near as clear and concise as Johnny's. In fact, I think it's frozen, but that's okay. Yeah, good. Glad you see me, William. Appreciate it. But yeah, my stream is nowhere near as clear as Johnny's is. But however, that is going to change, and we're only probably about 3 weeks or so away from that happening. So I've seen the broadband package that I want, and I just need to book the people to come and actually install it and get it all set up. So that's going to be cool. We have a move date, which is July 1st. So we're about 18, 19 days away from that. And it's all pretty exciting. So pretty much, I don't think the studio will be fully operational immediately that we move. It'll be maybe July 2nd or 3rd before I'm actually up and running. And as soon as I am, I'll be doing some OBS tests to see how it works with the new broadband. It should be loads better, and I should be able to get rid of Google Hangouts altogether and use OBS entirely, which would be great. And I can hopefully develop much better quality live streams. Can we cuss here? Asked Dooley still. Well, depends on who's here, to be honest. If some of the kids have come over from Johnny's stream to here, then it's probably not a good idea. So yeah, there might be that. It's not that I'm anti-cussing. I think there are some words that I would rule out and not allow, but I think to a limit. You may say damn, you may say shit, you may say bugger. Even though that means different things in different contexts, but yeah, here in the UK we use that word quite a lot, so I wouldn't worry about that one too much. Outrageous accents, like what, Oren? You mean mine? My Southeast Edinburgh accent. I think somebody just messaged me on Facebook. I'm going to go and take a look and see who that was. Okay, that's someone else. That's of no relation to this show. Yeah, bollocks is another good one. Yeah, we use that quite a lot here as well. I won't let my kids use it yet because I think they'd get into a lot of trouble at school if they went to school and said, "You know what, miss, that's bollocks." They'd get sent home with a letter, probably. So not going to do that. All right, but yeah, I thought we'd have a little after show because I know that we'd kind of answered the question, yet not really kind of quite answered the question on, the whole subject of syncopation and, doing that with your vocal. I mean, we kind of hinted at damn it, I can't even spell it now. RESPECT, respect. And that's a cool song, and that pretty much, I would say, showcases typically what you can do with a very straight rhythm section, a very straight drum beat, with a very syncopated melody line. And yet, The lyrics are completely discernible, and the cool thing is that it really adds emphasis to what the song is about, what the lyrics are actually saying. You know, they're talking about respect, you know, think, and all of that. You know, Think is another great song actually of hers that really, you know, think about what you're doing to me, you know, and all of that. It's just like really great song, simple, straight down the line rhythm work, and the vocal just kind of sits on the top of that. It's just terrific. So that's a really fine example of using a lot of syncopation. But you can juxtapose if you want to. You know, you can have a melody that's really straight down the line, like Nutbush City Limits by oh darn it, I've forgotten her name now. Forgotten her name. But one of you guys will post her name in the chat, I'm sure. But yeah, Nutbush City Limits. Who is that? The name is there on the tip of my tongue, but I can't think what it is right now. And that's probably because it's 1:20 in the morning. But yeah, that's a really, really fine example of straight rhythm in the melody, straight rhythm with the vocal as well. And the whole idea is to give this sense of, you know, an almost marching effect. It's not Bob Seger. It's a woman who sang it, I think. At least I don't think it's Bob Seger. Might be. Anyway, so there you go. So I kind of thought that you guys might have some more questions on that. So if you have got some more questions on that and maybe some other subjects that we didn't really get to talk about in the show, then, you know, we can address some of those there. Oye Como Va is a mambo, believe it or not. Yeah, it's a mambo salsa is what it is. And Santana is a good example of syncopation in the music. Yeah, well, the whole thing is to some degree or other syncopated because it's, you know, it comes out of Brazilian music traditions, salsa and all of that style, and mambo. You know, it comes out of all of that. So yes, you're going to find a lot of syncopation in the melody. Plus, you're going to find it in the percussion elements as well. So there you go. That's a very good example to give, actually, William. William says, when I was born, my father gave me a funny look, and I've been funny looking ever since. Yeah. Yeah, that would go for quite a lot of us, I think. Bloody hell, yes, you can say that as well. That's fine. So yeah, if you guys have got any further questions on this whole subject, then yes, let's address them in this after show party. And we'll go for, you know, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. But it is really late here. I just, you know, kind of felt a little bit awake and I just thought, yeah, let's do it. Stereolab is asking my favorite Scottish pop rock band. Oh gosh, there are quite a few, but Biffy Clyro has to be up there. Absolutely. Mike says, I'm not supposed to be here. Don't tell on me. Mike, I haven't seen you in here. I don't even know that you're here. Orange Shackman says, you had mentioned Harry Belafonte during the feed. My father was Harry's musical director for years. I remember the percussion section being huge, recording in that studio for Where to Start. Recording that in studio for Where to Start. Oh, right. Yes. Where to start that kind of music. Yeah. That's a huge question, Oren. Where to start with recording that kind of style of music? I would say listen a lot to Harry's music. And I would say start off by identifying the key elements of one of those songs. You know, just listen to a record of his. You may need to play the song 3 or 4 times. And with each pass through, with each listen through, write on a piece of paper the key elements that are the feature elements of the song. What make the song really work. And then what elements support those featured elements and why and how they're doing it. And then identify instruments, featured instruments, not just, you know, featured elements of the song, but featured instruments. So specific instruments that are featured in the song. Identify those, and then, you know, try and figure out what they're playing, try and transcribe what is being played. And then I would say you can build kind of like a template out of that information. Dooley still says JL rocks, plain and simple. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Will Evans says, is the use of syncopation more a matter of lyrical meter rhythm? It certainly can be. That certainly can be an element of how it can work. Lyrical meter and rhythm. Yes. That can be a way in which one can syncopate. Syncopation is a rhythmic thing. And essentially it is emphasizing weak beats or weak parts of a beat that are not normally emphasized. Like normal emphasis in Western music would be beat 1 because it's the downbeat of each bar, and maybe the next secondary emphasis would be beat 3. It does get a little bit of extra weight to it. But, you know, when we're talking about rock music, funk music, you know, beats 2 and 4 get more emphasis than 1 and 3. But, you know, beat 1 is still pretty strong. But it's kind of like the in-between beats, if you like the upbeat 8th note, or, you know, one of the 16th notes, something like that. You know, those would be examples of syncopation, elements that are syncopated. So you want some examples? Okay, examples that I can play at the piano, or at least I can try to play at the piano. All right, so if I was to play my left hand on the beat here, and then with my right hand I play the chord. Now both hands are playing quarter notes on beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm just playing 2 and 4 with the other hand, with the right hand. How about using the upbeat of 1 and the upbeat of 3, like this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, what about upbeat of 2 and 4? 1, 2 and 3, 4 and 1, 2 and 3, and 1, 2 and 1, 2 and. Okay, what about upbeat of 3 and 4 and leaving everything else? So 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 and. All right, so that's 8th note syncopation, and you get that in a lot of rock music. So, you know, if you were to have that 4 on the floor kind of thing with the kick drum, and then beats 2 and 4 on the snare drum, then you could go. So the syncopation is happening in my right hand, whilst my left hand is playing pretty much on the beat. Okay, so that's where the syncopation is. And a lot of rock music and pop music features 8th note syncopation. You don't get a lot of 16th note syncopation, unless you're talking something like Steely Dan's Peg, for example, which is a little bit more funky. That features a lot more 16th note syncopation. You know, where you've got. because the pulse is here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what's going on with the right hand here is the right hand is playing the first. See, with every beat, with every 4 beats in the bar, in this particular case, you subdivide into 4 16th notes for each beat. And what the right hand is doing is on the first beat is playing the first and the last of the 4 16th notes on beat 1. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. Okay, and then the next part of the keyboard part is where it goes down to here, and basically that happens on the upbeat 8th note of 1, 2 and 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3, 4. So it's basically on the upbeat of beat 2. So you get. Okay. So that's another one. Another piece of 16 note syncopation would be Josie, where you get. Okay, so you'd kind of like doing a rest on beat 1, and then you're doing the same thing that I did with Peg on beat 1, but you're doing this on beat 2, and then you're playing upbeat 8 notes for the rest of the bar. 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 1, and that's syncopation. All right, so those are a couple of examples there. William says, "I'm trying to ask why to incorporate syncopation in a song." Well, to keep a sense of forward motion. I mean, what's great about those two examples there, Peg and Josie, is yes, they're keyboard parts, but what they do is they give you a tremendous sense of forward motion. You know, instead of going. Which is what Peg would be if you take away all the syncopation. Okay, that's no syncopation. That's everything on the beat. If I put the syncopation back in, okay, so that's why you use syncopation. It's to create a sense of forward motion. All right, so you would do that with your rhythm tracks. You'd also do that with your vocal melody, is to give a sense of forward motion and a sense of propulsion, keeping the song driving forward. All right, so I hope that helps. Sounds like Ray Charles. Yeah, it's not Ray Charles I'm doing there. If you slow one of the beats down in reference to the main time, you create a groove. You're welcome. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, William says, "I apologize for my lack of clarity." It's fine. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, trying to explain what we're trying to do here is we're explaining something that's easy to do, that you almost do without thinking about it, but we're trying to codify it and explain it. And that's where music theory can be complicated. So that's okay. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to scroll up just in case I missed something. Doesn't look like I have, though. Johnny's here. He says, "Listening while I work." That's cool. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for being here. Yeah, so I think I've caught up. There's only 13 people here, so that's fine. It's a small little crowd we've got here, and that's cool. But like I said, this is only going to be short. Only about 20 minutes or so. So we're coming up on 20 minutes. So we will end in just a few minutes. But I just basically wanted to give folks an extra chance to have questions that we didn't get to in the show addressed. related questions to the topic, because I knew that this topic was going to spawn probably quite a lot of questions to do with, not just the what is syncopation, and some examples of syncopation, but how to actually do it yourself, how to actually apply syncopation to your music and to your melodies and to your rhythm tracks. William says, can you syncopate the vocal while keeping the accompaniment straight and vice versa? Can I personally do that? Not really. But can it be done? Yes, it can. Absolutely. It's done all the time in popular music, and you're probably just not aware of it. This is probably the first time you're actually starting to think about and listen for syncopation and how it works. And you're probably the light bulb will go on for you, and you'll probably go, I've been doing that for years. I do that all the time. Every time I sit down with my guitar and I'm strumming it and I'm singing a completely different rhythm, that's syncopation. So, anytime you're going on your guitar, when you're playing that little strumming pattern on your guitar, and then you're singing a completely different rhythm, yes, there is rhythmic counterpoint between the two, but there's also some syncopation as well. There's a keg behind that cymbal stand he won't sell. Keg? What keg? There's no keg. There's just there's a floor tom stand there now, as well as a cymbal stand. And you're right, I'm not selling them because I use them. Mike says, thanks, Johnny. I'll be in touch. Good man. George says, can you do syncopation just using impact, or do you need to record a drum pattern? No, you can use whatever you need to. Bob says he's got a rehearsal. Good. You go and make some music, mate. Jody Ruloff is here. Good to see you, Jody. And Jody says, I have always had a problem playing guitar and singing when the lyrics are not accented on the main beats. I'm assuming that is an example, and I did not know what to call it. A lot of people, when they are first attempting to accompany themselves, have that problem. I've been accompanying myself in a band situation for a long time, and the way I get away with it quite often is I kind of play more spare. If I'm playing in a band situation, like with my band, and I'm playing the keyboard part and I'm singing, I tend to play more spare when I'm singing, and I fill in more of the gap. I play a little bit more busy when I'm not singing, and that's kind of my way around it. It doesn't really work when you're playing solo. It's it just sounds a bit odd, just kind of like, play a chord and then go, and then or whatever it might be. Just because that's what I do in a band situation. On my own, it just sounds a bit rubbish, and I should probably actually try and figure out how to do it. Johnny says, for those curious, the Windows update caused no issues. Good. Yeah. I would imagine that not all the Windows updates are major updates. I would say some of them are just kind of like making sure that your Windows security protocols are up to date. That's probably a lot of what it is. Certainly the Windows 7 ones were just security. William Everett says, I have only recently started getting more comfortable playing lead licks when I'm singing, usually during an outro, for example. I need to practice it more. Playing lead licks, improvising, and singing at the same time is a special talent. I wholeheartedly congratulate you for being able to do it in any shape or form, because I can't. I can't sing and improvise at the same time. It really does take splitting your brain and learning a little bit of independence. It's funny because when I'm playing drums, I can play a nice ride cymbal pattern, ding, ting, ding, ting, 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 and then I can play, quarter note triplets with my right hand on the snare drum. and at the same time, I can also then play. I can also play whole note triplets, not whole note triplets, quarter. What was it? Half note triplets. That's what I'm looking for. Half note triplets on the kick drum, and with my right foot, I'm playing beats 2 and 4 with my foot on the hi-hat pedal. I can do that, and I can hold a conversation, and it's fine. I can talk to the bass player whilst doing that, and it's fine. I can do it. Just don't ask me to sing and play something complicated on the piano at the same time. It just doesn't happen for me. William says the vocals have to become rote so that I'm not thinking about them at all. Then it's easier. Yeah, I'm sure that's actually the way to do it, is to drill what you're doing down so well that it becomes autopilot. So maybe the keyboard part becomes autopilot, and then you can concentrate on the vocal and embellishing the vocal, or maybe the other way around. It might be like that for some people. We're down to 9 now, so I'm going to wrap up in just a minute. But I thought it would be cool to just kind of extend this conversation a little bit further before I go to bed. Because it is 20 to 2 in the morning here. Johnny says I couldn't do it either. Yeah, it's hard. Improvising on guitar and then vocally improvising as well. No. I've seen people do it. What is easier is actually singing what you're playing at the same time. That's much easier. Like George Benson does. William says depends upon which one is doing the improvising. Yeah, probably. And he thanks both me and Johnny Guy. You guys are awesome, he says. Well, thank you very much. Now we're down to 8 people, so I think this is probably my cue. We've been going on for 27 minutes, and I think pretty much we're done with questions now. So I just thought it'd be pretty cool just to have a little short extension to the show so that we could, kind of expand this a little bit further and give you guys a little bit more of a chance to kind of explore this topic a little bit further. William says, once I get my finances a little more sorted, I'll join PivotShare. Yeah, I wholeheartedly recommend Johnny Guy's PivotShare site. Go and check that out. He has a lot of stuff up there, and it's very, very reasonably priced. I mean, $9.99 a month. You can't go wrong with that. I myself will be launching my own VIP members area. That will be coming very soon. We're just we're just trying to get PayPal connected to it at the moment, which is proving to be just a tiny hair problematic. It's much harder than I thought it was. But we're in that end game with it now, so we should be launching that probably just after I move. So maybe kind of around the first, maybe second week of July, we should be ready to start launching that. So if you go to the description below in this video, you'll see a link to my email list. Go and join my email list, and you'll get my 5-part compression video series, and you'll also get my song Chanel. You'll get the stems to that, and you can mix that to your heart's content. Go and have fun with that. And the other thing is, by being on my email list, you'll also get not early access to, but you'll certainly get an early look at my VIP members area before it goes live, because I'm going to give my email guys a chance to have a guided tour of it before I kind of like announce it to the world and give everybody a look at it. So that is what is coming up. So my move happens in about 19 days time. And then I will be in my new studio. Well, a lot of what you see here will be familiar. It'll just be a different room. So I'll show you around that room once we're in it. That's going to be very cool. I'll maybe even do a live stream in the room before we've got set up and everything else, so I can kind of show you what it's like. All right, guys. So thanks very much. And we will be back here on my channel on Sunday night for Sunday Night Live. So be there and bring your questions related to all aspects of music production, and we will answer your questions, and we'll have good chat, and I'll play some piano, and we'll do some stuff in Studio One. We'll do all sorts of fun stuff on Sunday. So that'll be Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. I'll put an advert up in the HST page as well. Probably Sunday morning I'll do that. So until then, I will see you around. Take care, folks. Good night.